long promised and overdue how I clean my brushes. Hi, my name's Leanne Shawler. I'm an artist, writer. Today I'm talking about art stuff, and it has been asked before to show how I wash my brushes and clean up the dirty paint water after myself, because, you know, acrylics are plastic, and plastic in our environment is not a good thing. Now, what I'm going to show you is the cheap way of doing things. Is it perfect? No. But if you're still washing your brushes in the sink, this is your first step. So the first part of this video is showing how I wash brushes, including how to rehabilitate brushes that should be dead, but yet this cleaning stuff really does the trick. And then I will show you how I dispose of my paint water. Here, I'm going to walk back so you can see it all, is my paintbrush washing section. I'm going to bring you in. I've left the lid off my cleaner. Let's put that back on so it dries out. This is for washing my hands. Just picked up some paint along the way. So I wash them in that. I have a jug of water that I get from the tap outside. And I was putting them in here, and I recently read you should dry your brushes upside down. So I got one of those. And then this is just the paint rag that I wipe the brushes clean on. So before I start, I put a barrier cream on. This stuff makes it so easy to clean the paint off your skin. I also have, as an example today, seriously, come on, focus, gunked up brush. It's actually been sitting with some of the Masters cleaner on it, and we're going to wet it and see if we can revive it today. And it has gone into the jar with the filthy paint water. And we're going to clean those brushes. So let's give this a whirl. You can see inside it's a bit dirty. That is the paint that's come off the one that got gunked up. So if there's a lot of water in here, I will just wash it in dirty water just to get the extra paint out. And just give it a good old scrub in here. As you can see, it's cleaning up out the gunk inside. And give it a little rinse. And I wipe it off. This leaves some of the cleaner on it, but it actually conditions the brush too, I have found. So if I want to restore it to a nice flat shape, that's a good way to go. And I just check to see if there's any residue left when I do this, and I can actually tell. So this is another brush. It looks pretty clean. It's been soaking in water for a couple days actually, which is not supposed to do, but I forgot to clean up after my last session, or couldn't be bothered to clean up after my last session. So I'm focusing. Oh no, I put it in the wet. Oh God. This rag usually lives up where the phone is to film this. So, and there we go. This is supposed to be a watercolor brush, but I've used it for everything but watercolor. Let's try no, I have one more brush to go. I'm just gonna see the paint water change color, get stirred up a bit. And when this is full, I have a sort of like a 2-bucket system outside. It's covered with some pantyhose, and I'm going to put myself in shot. Pantyhose, and I put that over a pot. It's got holes in the bottom, and that pot sits on top of a bucket which does not have holes in the bottom, and so it drains through. It drains out most of the bigger solids. The smaller micro stuff still goes through, and then I let it sit there until it dries out, which it hasn't because it's been rainy season. So I might need a second bucket, but it's sitting outside where it gets some sun, but no rain. It was getting rain, it hadn't in the right spot. All right, So this is Captain Dud brush. I can usually resurrect these after a couple of goes. And you look, you can see the bristles are already coming out quite nicely. A little bit of water. So I don't have running water down here in the studio, so it's jug and basin. I'm just gonna make sure. I still see something there, like here. I think I might be good. Let me give it another rinse. And that was a clogged up solid brush that is now no longer clogged up or solid. And I actually like my crappy brushes. Let me show you a crappy brush. Like I've got this one has a definite bend to it. This one, whoops. It is so fluffy. There we go. It's really fluffy. Why not? Not a nice flat surface anymore, but they're good for scrubbing. All right, and then the last thing I do is wash my hands. So I do this initial clean here, and then you can see the blues mostly come off, and I will just scratch it with my fingernails to make sure it's all off. I've got some orange here. This was not a major painting, so usually oh look, I put my hand in the blue. So we'll clean that down there. And then give that a bit of a rinse. Oops, I do that because it's slippery with the soap. Give that a bit of a rinse. And my last step is I wipe it off on my apron. I should have an old towel, but I've not lived here in Australia long enough to get old towels. So that, didn't have extra camera in. So look, so that blue that was there, you're not there no more. Share how I clean foam brushes. I just got some clear gesso on this, and I now wear kitchen gloves so I don't get diluted paint embedded in my cuticles. So I just, tap it in here. I push it off the side here. You can see because it's clear gesso is milky until it dries. And that I can squeeze it out. See, that would be going right on my hands if I didn't have gloves on. Add a little more water, squeeze it out. And this water also has the cleaning fluid in it from left over. And then eventually, I'm feeling like we've gotten a lot of it out. I will, oh God, that's disgusting. Squeeze it all out. If I had fresh water, which I don't, but anyway. And that should get most of it out. Oh, I just splashed it everywhere. And then my paint rag, which is up here on the shelf here. I just plug that in there. And then I set it aside to dry. You can still see there's some media in there, but I think enough of it is gone that it's going to be fine. And that's how I do it. But what do I do with all that paint water? Well, I don't toss it down the sink. It's mainly acrylic paint because I don't like oils. So what I do is I take it outside. When I dispose of my acrylic water, my paint water, it goes into this system. I have a bucket at the bottom and then a pot plant container shoved into that. And on top of that is wrapped this pantyhose. As you can see, there's some yellow drips there